Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I pay my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. I express all my gratitude and make many praises to Srila Prabhupada for giving all of us a golden opportunity to go back to Godhead. All goes to Srila Prabhupada for his wonderful devotional services to Srimati Radha and Lord Gopinath. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today in the Bhagavath Katha, we are in the first chapter, first canto, 6th chapter, 16th verse. I shall repeat the verse 3 times slowly. Please repeat along with me and then later I do the narration. Jayastasa charanambujam bhava nirjita chetasa autkantyasaru kalakshaya hridi Asimimi Thanai Harihi Jayastasa Charanambhajam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa Aukantyastru Kalakshaya Asimimi Thanai Harihi Jayastaha Charanambhajam Bhava Nirjita Chetasa और कंत्यश्रु कलाक्षस्य हरि आसिम्मे शनै हरि यायस्त चनाम्बुजं भाव निर्जित चेतसा और कंतश्रु कलाक्षयस्य हृदि अस्मिन् मे शनै हरि ध्यायतः. Thus meditating upon Charana Ambujam, the lotus feet of the localized personality of Godhead. Bhavanarjita, mind transformed in transcendental love for the Lord. Chetasa, all mental activities, thinking, feeling and willing. Aukantya, eagerness. Astrukala, tears rolled down. Akshasya, of the eyes. Hridi, within my heart. Asid, appeared. Me, mine. Sanai, without delay. Harihi, the personality of Godhead. Nadamarshi is telling all these things to Srila Vedavyas Bhagavan. The narration of this verse is, as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Nadamarshi says, when he started the beginning of this meditation upon the lotus feet of the Lord, within the mind, it transformed into a transcendental love. He had developed a lot of love unto the lotus feet of the Supreme God. At that time, tears, that is known as Ananda Bashpa, rolled down his eyes, and without delay, Krishna has appeared as an Antaryami. He could see the Krishna. The word Bhava is significant here. The Bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. This stage will be getting only when we have lot of devotion to the God. The first initial stage is called Shraddha. That means we should have lot of interest and we should devote all our time in chanting His name with all concentration, or a liking of the Supreme Lord. And in order to increase that liking, one has to associate with the pure devotees. When we are alone, there will be a lot of disturbance in the mind. The mind is chanchala, it is wavering, it will be moving here and there. So one should get involved with the devotees, pure devotees, for chanting His God's name, so that we will also continue the same activities along with them. The devotees of the Lord. This third stage is to practice the prescribed rules and regulations of devotional service. That means it's not that we have to just sit in the temple and doing our chanting here. We can do everything, anything, anyway, because the Maha Mantra has no regulation. This is the third stage where the practice can be observed anyway while performing our regular karma. We should never give up our karma. That has to be fulfilled, because otherwise, to fulfill the complete karma, we need to take many more births. So instead of that one, while we perform our karma, as well as also remember the God. That should be the practice. And this Hare Krishna Mahamantra particularly, it has no rules and regulations. It can be chanted any time, 24 hours a day, throughout our life. This will dissipate. Once we practice this meditation of the Maha Mantra, and while doing our karma, then while doing our karma, when we practice to remember Him by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it will dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress in the devotional service. When all misgivings and personal differences are removed, there is a standard faith in transcendental matter. That means we are attracted to this nature, Rajasa and Tamasa, and due to which we have been attracted by so many desires to be fulfilled. Once we give up all these, it's only misgiving, because happiness in this world is not eternal, permanent, nor the suffering is permanent. Both of them are cyclic. One after the other, it will be coming and going. And these misgivings we should renunciate, we should forget, and personal deficiencies are removed. There is a standard faith in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. When we practice like this, the affection towards God and devotion to Him, along with our karma, whatever responsibilities we are having, while executing that karma, this affection also proportionately increases. It becomes great and great every day. And after this is the bhava, or the prayer stage of unalloyed love for God. There will not be any hurdle in the affection to the God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. Whether it is bhava, shraddha, or practicing the prescribed regulations, it's all the three stages. All these three stages is nothing different, but at the same time it's a different stages to acquire that practice that following. Tears from the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. When your true devotee remembers the God while performing his karma, accurately there will be a reaction and tears would fall. That is known as Anda Bashpa. It's not a weeping or crying type of tears. It's a tears out of ecstasy, happiness. You feel happy and after that tears come out. That is Ananda Bashpa. But being so discharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasies. Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth attained the stage very quickly after his departure from home. It was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord. Narada Muni, not in this creation, in the previous creation. Previous creation, he was the son of a maid servant. He was son of a maid servant, and he was going for work along with his mother, where she was working with sages. And while the sages were performing their worship, meditation and other activities, as a child, as a son of that maid servant, he observed all their practices, what they are doing, and he also gained the knowledge, and due to which he practiced the same thing even after the departure of the sages from this world to the eternal world. And he became a pure devotee in the previous creation. And in the present creation, by the birth itself, that is, he was the Manasa Putra of Chaturmukha Brahma itself, and by the birth itself, he was roaming all over. Hare Krishna. You can sit down and darshan, continue the class for some more time. Narada Muni, in his attained stage very quickly after his departure from home. It was quite possible for him to receive the actual presence of the Lord. Tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material things. That means during this creation, because he was the Manasa Putra of Chaturmukha Brahma, he was never attracted by the nature's characters. Because like us, he was not in the womb of any mother. He was just out of mind of Chaturmukha Brahma, he was born. And with the birth itself, he had the knowledge of all the Shastras, Vedas, because Chaturmukha Brahma himself was the spiritual master for Narada Maharshi. And by birth itself, he got all the knowledge, and he was a pure devotee of the God. He just chanted the Narayana mantra everywhere, every second, and like that he got a lot of power. He was capable to move one planet to other planet and one universe to other universe without any help of any satellites or rockets. Just by chanting the mantra, he could fly away like that, which is tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material things. Now, we shall proceed to the next verse, that is 17th verse. I shall repeat this verse 3 times. Please repeat along with me slowly. Thereafter I shall do the narration. Premati bara nirbinna pulakango atinivritaha anandha samplave lino napasyam ubayam mune. Premati bara na pulakango atinivritaha ananda samplave lino napasyam ubayam mune. Premavitara nirbinna pulakango atinivrita ananda samplave lino napasyam ubayam mune. Prema Nirbinna Pulakango Adinivritaha Anando Samplave Lino Napasyam Ubayam Muni. The word-to-word meaning of this verse is Prema means love, Atibara excessive, Nirbinna especially distinguished, Pulaka feelings of happiness, Angaha different bodily parts, Atinivritta being fully overwhelmed, Ananda, ecstasy, Samplave, in the ocean of Linaha, absorbed in Na, not, Apasyam, could see, Ubayam, both, Muni, O Vyasadeva. Narada Maharshi is addressing this to Srila Vyasadeva during the Japa Yoga about 5,300 years ago. He is the incarnation of Krishna himself. Narada Maharshi addressing Vyasadeva at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by the feelings of happiness. When he was chanting the name of Krishna, he was feeling exceedingly overpowered because he could see Antara, the Paramatma within his heart, and he was overjoyed, exceedingly overpowered by the feeling of that happiness. Every part of his body became separately enlivened. like they say romancha, all these hairs, they will stand erect. Like that it happened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, his happiness was not just limited to him. It was like a big ocean where we cannot see the beginning and end of the ocean. Like that his happiness was in ecstasy, it was there. And he said, I could see both myself and the Lord. That means his self-realization. He could see his own soul. He could see his own soul, as well also he had the feelings to see the God. Spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies have no mundane comparison. It's not just we see many people in the procession or in some festival celebration, they start jumping as they like with mad in feelings. But these spiritual feelings of happiness and intense ecstasies are not like that. That means it is not mundane comparison. Therefore, it is very difficult to give expression to such feelings. We cannot tell out of the words how that happiness will be enjoyed. We can just have a glimpse of such ecstasy in the words of Sri Nadamuni. Whatever Nadamuni is telling about the gods, seeing the God within himself along with his soul, it's only we can have that glimpse, we can imagine, that can be imagined, it's a bhava. But otherwise, we cannot really express in any words. Each and every part of the body, our senses has its particular function. Every body, excepting for God, all other living beings have their organs and senses controlled by each and every organ. For Supreme God, with eyes he can do anything, like he can work, he can walk, he can see, he can do hear, he can eat like that. Similarly with ears, with life, nose, with every body of the part, Supreme God can do everything. But otherwise, other living beings, it is not like that. Each and every part of the body or senses has particular function. For us, with our hands we can work, with our legs we can walk, with our mouth we can eat, with our eyes we can see. Like that, our different organs and different senses individually have different functions. After seeing the Lord, all the senses become fully awakened to render service to the Lord. But at the same time, what Narada Maharshi is expressing over here is, once you see Paramatma within yourself, you will feel happiness all over the body, all over, all the senses, all the organs. Happiness. Because in the liberated state, the senses are fully efficient in serving the Lord. Each and every part and organ of our body, when we have self-realization as well as see the God, they tend to do the devotion to the God. They tend to do the devotion to the God. As such, in that transcendental ecstasy, it is so happened that senses became separately enlivened to serve the Lord. Narada Maharshi says, when he realized his own soul and also seen Paramatma, all his bodies was in so much of ecstasy, and it has happened that all his senses separately they wanted to serve the Lord. This being so, Narada Muni lost himself in seeing both himself and the Lord simultaneously. Like that, when he realized the soul and as well as the supreme soul within himself, his bodily senses were totally forgotten, because everything was occupied in the devotion to this Lord. Now again we shall continue with the next verse, 18th verse. I shall tell this verse slowly 3 times. Everybody please repeat loudly. Please sit down. You can continue in the class for some more time. Please sit down. Please repeat the verse 3 times slowly. I'll tell. Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manaha Kantam Suchapaham Apasyan Sahasotasate Vaiklayad Durmana Iva Rupam Bhagavato Tan Manaha Kantam Suchapaham Apasyan Sahasostate Klayat Durmana Iva Bhagavato Yattan Manaha Kantam Suchapaham Apasyan Sahasostate Vaikayal Durmana Iva Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manaha Kantam Suchapaham Apasyan Sahasostate Valkayat Durmana Iva. The word to word meaning of this verse. Rupa means form. Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Yet as it is, that. Manaha, of the mind. Kantam, as it desires. Suchapaham, vanishing all disparity. Apasyan, without seeing. Sahasa, all of sudden. Utaste, got up. Vaikalyat, being perturbed. Durmanaha, having lost the desirable. As it were, the transcendental form of the Lord. The transcendental of the Lord, as it is, satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental impurities. Once you are in the consciousness of Paramatma, if you realize your soul as well Paramatma within yourself, Paramatma is there in every living being, not just human beings, every living being, right from ant to the Chaturmukha Brahma and even Radharani, he is there. So once we realize him, due to the transcendental, seeing the transcendental form, when you realize, you can see the Paramatma within ourselves in his Chaturbhuja form. So when you see him in ecstasy, all your mental agonies, whatever you are having, and all the materialistic desires, they will vanish. You will never, you forget. Just when you go to Tirupati Balaji, you have, when you go to the temple, when you plan to go there, you will have lot of desires here. You think that I should go and ask him to give some crores of rupees, or you want some good building or good car. So many desires will be there, not one or two. So many desires. When you go there, you will not be able to express anything, because seeing is the attraction, the deity itself, you will forget everything. You will forget everything. Similarly, when we see the Paramatma within ourselves, and also not only within ourselves, we should see Paramatma in everybody. Everyone, not only humans, every living being, you need to see Paramatma. At that time, you will feel happy, as well as you forget all these materialistic ego, desires, everything will vanish automatically. You will never have any longing for those, because in this nature, whatever is available, it will be, if you feel happy for only few minutes or few hours or a few days. But once it is lost, again you will be suffering. Again you will be suffering. So happiness and suffering are continuous, like cyclic. It's not that happiness is throughout your life or suffering is throughout your life. One after the other, it will come and go. So you need not, all these things will vanish suddenly. Once you see, realize and know about the truth of the God. But that Lord is not formless, is experienced by Narada Muni. Many people is a formless, but when we are having form, when all the living beings are having different forms, why not God will not have a form? Because He is the boss. He is the boss of all the universes, not just the earth or one universe. All the Akhila Brahmanda, there are crores of universes, and what are the universes of Akhila Brahmanda is only 25% space. Balance 75% space is Goloka Vrindavana, where he will be staying alone along with Radharani as his companion, Bhakti, devotee. Radharani is a devotee to Krishna Paramatma. So she will be taking care of all the services of Krishna in maintaining all the universes. So when we are having form, why we will not have? He is also having form. That is described in all the Vedas, in Mahabharata, Ramayana, 18 Puranas and Upuranas. It is mentioned, clearly mentioned. God is having a form, and is experienced by the Narada Muni, because he is a pure devotee. He has seen him, but his form is completely different from all forms of our material experience. But he is like us. He will not have the blood or bones like us. His body is different. His body is different. His body is known as Panchopasayana. Our body is Panchabhuta. His body is known as Panchopasayana. But his form is completely different from all forms of material experience. For the whole duration of life, we go see different forms in the material world. But none of them is just apt to satisfy the mind. In the entire life, we see so many animals, birds, insects, worms, and we see human beings also, men, women, and each individual are different from other. So they will never be just like everyone. Everyone are different according to their own karma. But none of them just have to satisfy the mind. Nor can any one of them vanish all the perturbances of the mind. Because our mind is chanchala. We need to control our mind, and due to which we have to control all our senses. Bodily senses as well our sensory organs. All senses we need to control. So that the bodily organs will function according to the mind. Body should never become the servant of the mind, because we are never servant to ourselves. Our body has to do what mind tells or Atma tells. These are the special features of the transcendental form of Lord. And one who has once seen that form is not satisfied with anything else. Once you see Krishna Paramatma within yourself and within everybody, every individual, then you will try to see only Paramatma in everything, because he is Sarva-Vyapi and he is called as Vishnu, because he is Sarva-Vyapi, all spread over, all pervading. He is known as Sri Mahavishnu. That the Lord is formless or impersonal means that he has nothing like a material form and is not like any material personality. People who say that he has no form means it's not that he does not have form. He is formless like us. He is formless like us and he is not impersonal. But he has a different sense, a different form, and his body is always teenage form. Nirakara. Nirakara means again it is not formless. Many people think that Nirakara means it is formless. No, ours is Akara, which changes from childhood to youth, youthful to middle age to old age again in the end we will be leaving this the Atma, this body. But whereas the Supreme Souls, that is Supreme God's body is always teenage body, it will never change like us. It will never change as like. Only when he has taken the incarnations human form as in Treta Yuga as Rama, or again in the human form with all full powers as Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna Paramatma, the Dwapara Yuga, it was only to show how the changes take place in everybody. But otherwise, he is never attached to these materialistic desires or these gunas, qualities. We are bounded by these nature's qualities of Rajasic and Tamasic guna. But whereas Supreme Lord, even in the form of Rama or Krishna during Dwapara Yuga, he is never attached, he is not bounded by any materialistic desires. As spiritual beings having eternal relations with that transcendental form of the Lord. Here we are saying our eternal relations. We have relationships, 9 different type of relationships. One is he is our mother, he is our father, he is our acharya, he is our friend, he is our well-wisher, he is our we can imagine him as our son or daughter. Like that, we have different types of Navavida Sammada. And also even the bhaktis also there is Navavida bhakti is there. Like Archana is there, Smarana, chanting, meditation, so many, even all those things are 9 types are there. So we have forgotten those things. As spiritual beings having eternity with that transcendental form of the Lord, we are life after life. searching of that form. We have forgotten that form. We have forgotten the Paramatma and all the relationships with Him. And we are taking many births we have taken, many lakhs of, not one or two, and not as human beings, but animals, birds, insects, like that. And to avoid that life cycle, we need to remember God at the end of this lifetime. So we will get salvation, that is liberation, moksha. We will. Again in the moksha, many people think that our Atma will go and merge with the super soul. It is never. Again, like here we are different individuals are there. Similarly, we also as a liberated souls will be different individuals in the Goloka Vrindavana or any of the Vaikunthas. But we will be separate individuals with the same similar form as the God is possessing. But we do not have all the powers of the God, and with that form we will be doing His devotional services, and we will never come back on this earth in any form, whether as animals, birds, or a human form. We will never take. Not even we will not even take Devata's birth. Even Devatas also jivas like us. They also have different life. Like Indra is having 10,000 years life. Our 1 year makes 1 day for Indra. So like that 365 to 10,000 is his life. For Chaturmukha Brahma is also having 100 years life, which is our Chaturika makes Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kaliyuga. All this together makes 43 lakhs 20,000 years into 1,000 times makes 1 day for Brahma. Similar time makes 1 night for Brahma. Into 365 into 100 years is life. So everybody is having life, but we will not take, once we get salvation, we will not take any of these births. Once we see, we are taking life after life, but searching for that form of Lord. While we are in the womb of the mother, right from 5th month's pregnancy till the delivery, we see the God directly. But once we are delivered, being attracted to this materialistic nature, we forget God. And we also do not remember any of our earlier births after the present birth. So Narada Muni got a glimpse of this. Like that, Narada Muni being a devotee right from his birth during the creation, he was only taking the name of the God, and being without any perturb, he had a glimpse of his soul itself as well as supreme soul, and stood up all of a sudden to search it out. What we desire life was obtained by Narada Muni, and losing sight of him again was certainly a great shock for him, because again we should never get birth. For that purpose, we should be in full devotion, in pure devotion to the God. But one thing you need to remember is, you should fulfill all your responsibilities. Whatever karma is there, whether taking care of your older parents, or your children, or your other spouse, or your work in the office or business, everything you need to execute. You cannot leave anything, because of that one only previous karma we have taken the human birth, and in this human birth we have to complete all those karma by treating every action as a devotion to God. Treating every action as an action to the God, and remain in always. So before dispersing for now, we shall chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 10 times and leave now. But otherwise, again in the evening, we are meeting for Ramayana Sundarkanda today in the evening in Hindi. So please chant loudly the Hare Krishna Mantra 10 times. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Loudly please. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, this Mahamantra has no regulations. It can be meditated upon 24 hours into your lifetime. We need to do lifetime, because it's not that we have to do to fulfill our desires. We'll do it for a week or a month or a year, then leave it. That is not correct. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructed to chant the Mahamantra 64 rounds on the chanting bead containing 108 beads. But otherwise, whoever is doing on chanting beads, it's very good, well advised to do as instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But otherwise, if you are doing 1 or 2 rounds, try to improve it. And others who are not doing it, try to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 30 days initially. You see how much mind you will get it. Once you get your mind is peaceful, you can do all your activities successfully. You will never be unsuccessful. You will be successful in all your endeavors. So, do chanting with beads as instructed by Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, for any reason, it is inconvenient, even without beads. You chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is important. And you continue it. It is a lifetime practice. Also, when you go home, you inform your elder parents who are unable to come over here, your other spouse, your children, train them. Because we do not know when we leave this body. Though in Kali Yuga our life is 100 years back, many people they live even before that. Some people they die young as teenagers, as a child, we do not know. So for that reason, when the child starts speaking at the age of a year or a year and a half, when they start, at that time itself you should train them with Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna, Rama, Srinivas, whatever. The names of Krishna, Supreme Lord. He is having some thousands and thousands of names, any of his names and any of his forms. It's not that only this form of what is there in the temple you need to worship. You can worship any form of Krishna. Particularly Nrsimha Avatara, Krishna Avatara, Rama Avatara, Vara Avatara. These things you can worship without any, you need not feel unsatisfied, or you cannot think any misgivings about it. You can just, whatever form you desire, you like, you need to chant the Mahamantra. Because other mantras, they are regulated with many regulations. This has no regulation. Please chant this Mahamantra, try it for some time, you will feel happy and you will be successful in all your endeavors. Today evening we have Ramayana, Sundarakanda in Hindi. Please try to participate in that one. So, Jai Sri Radha Gopinath ki, Jai Sri Jagannath Surumaya ki, Jai Sri Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Jai Sri Maharaj ki, Jai Sri Mahaprabhu ki, Jai Sri Panchatattva ki, Jai Sri Bhagwan Granth ki, Jai Sri Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Jai Sri Prabhupada ki, Swasti Prabhapantyam Nyayena Margena Mahishaha Govashvastu Nityam Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Kayena Vacha Manasendrivya Buddhyatmate Swabhavat Karomi Yadyat Pasmai Narayana Sarpayami Sriman Narayana Sarpayami Sarvam Shri Krishnastu Mangalam 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 Nitya Mangalam